Okay, welcome folks. Just getting set up. We'll be underway in just a moment with our Friday morning coffee chat. Welcome to those of you who are joining me. All right. Welcome, welcome. We are about to get underway. This is our Friday morning coffee chat and Q&A. Your chance to ask me any questions that you've got. So just while I'm getting set up, let me know where you're dialing in from. Dialing in. Dates me, doesn't it? Give me 2 seconds. All right. G'day and welcome. How are you all? My name's Rod. Let me pop that up there for you. This is our Friday morning coffee chat and Q&A session. I'm going to talk about all things art, painting, being an artist, making a living out of art, and of course we will talk about, we'll answer your questions basically is what we're going to do. So welcome to everyone who's joining me. Good to see you all here. Let me know whereabouts you're tuning in from. We've got Jemana. Bonjour to you too, Jemana. Welcome. Good to see you. G'day, Barb. Over in G'day. It's G'day. It's not G'day. Australians like to abbreviate their words. So we've got the G from good and day. G'day. But over in Canada there, welcome, Barb. Sandra, good morning. Carol, good to see you again. Morning, Heather. Welcome, welcome. All right, this is our Friday morning coffee chat. We're going to talk about all things art and painting. And today I thought we'd talk about inspiration and getting ideas and learning from other artists and so on. So we'll have a bit of a chat about that. I also want to show you, well, actually what I want to do is talk about one of the secrets to selling your art. We'll talk about that towards the end. Now, I don't know if that's of interest to you, but I've got a real life example here to show you. So if you're interested in learning one of the secrets to selling your art, doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an experienced artist, let me know yes in the chats there, so I know to make sure to cover it at the end. G'day Gladys over on YouTube. Patricia in Florida, welcome. Good morning in the UK, Wolfcat. Formerly Wolfcat. Wolfcat's updated her handle name. It's now Libelle, I think. Welcome. All right. Lisa, good morning. Mount Wallace is freezing this morning. Okay, it's going to be a hot day up here. But welcome. Michelle, g'day. How are you, Michelle? Hope you're doing well. Hi, Darlene. Alabama. That's okay, Barb. I was just having a bit of fun. Hi, Alessangela. Welcome. Morning, Anne. Good morning, WA there. So Lisa and Heather are interested in learning one of the secrets to selling their art, so I'll share that with them at the end. If you want to know, you've got to type in yes. So this is our Friday morning coffee chat, and I hope you've got your coffee. And what we're going to do today is we're going to make sure we do a giveaway, because I haven't done a giveaway for a while. So we're going to give away, somebody on YouTube is going to win Learn to Paint mouse mat over on YouTube, and somebody on Facebook is going to win a Learn to Paint coffee mug. So towards the end of this live stream, we'll go for about 45 minutes depending on how many questions you have, but towards the end of this live stream I've got a question for you, and I'll give away those prizes, one person on YouTube, one person over on Facebook. So make sure you're in it to win it. And just to cover myself, I'm going to make sure that I cover the other two Facebook groups. Anne says, yes, of course. All right, Anne, I'll share it with you as well. So far I'm sharing it with Lisa, Heather, and Anne. Darlene, yes, I want to know any tips about selling. Okay, good. So we'll definitely share that with you. Angela in Harvey Bay. Nice. Welcome, Angela. First time watching. What I'll do while I'm chatting, if this is your first time watching, you might want to pop over to this website address here, www.learntopaint.info, and register for our free course there if you haven't done so already. But welcome, Angela. Love Harvey Bay. I was up there not so long ago, and beautiful part of the world. LaBelle, I had to delete Wolfcat because I have mixed with people who turned out to be not very nice. Okay, well that happens. You got to be careful who you associate with. Alison Jella says, yes to learning a secret to selling your artwork, so we'll share it with you as well. Michelle wants to know as well. Okay, there's a few of you, so I'll definitely make sure we share it on here. But this is something that I observed a fellow artist do, and it prompted me to take action. And it's a powerful, powerful secret to selling your art, or selling anything really. But for selling your artwork, very powerful, yet so few artists do it. So we'll talk about that briefly, and hopefully it'll give you a clue or two, because really figuring out how to be successful as artists, I think, is all about gathering clues and putting them all together and eventually working out a cohesive system. But it starts out with getting some clues here and there, yeah? I think. Good morning, Joy Chadwick. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, I'm just want to make sure, because I share our live streams to different Facebook pages, sometimes people make comments on one page and I've forgotten I've shared it there and I don't get to see their comments. So I'm just opening up those other pages. Actually, probably don't need to do that. Alrighty. Cool. So, Gladys says, secrets? Yes. Drum roll for the secrets coming up. Good morning, Helen Ashdown. Welcome. Good to see you. So this is a Q&A today. So it's all it's all about you, answering your questions. So think about what questions you've got coming up, and I'll answer them if I can, yeah? So any questions about learning to paint, any questions about our courses, any questions about becoming a working artist, start to think about what questions you've got, and we will cover those towards the end here today. Michelle says, I tried selling on eBay but ended up with some hefty charges. Yeah, I'm not sure what you did wrong. I mean, there are charges with everything. The best bet with eBay, with any selling platform, you've got to make an absolute commitment. You don't just try it, right? So you have to say, I'm going to give this a year and I'm going to work at it consistently. You can't just do a month and then judge the results, because every selling platform requires a high level of energy and effort. And there are fees on every platform, just they all work out the fees differently, right? So on Blue Thumb, where I sell a bit of work, it's 30%. On eBay, they have listing fees and things like that. So yeah, there are fees. You've got to work out how to make a profit selling your work there. But it's all about building momentum on a platform, and that takes time and consistent effort over time. So, but I'm not sure about what your hefty fees were, Michelle. You may have to look into that and contact their customer support desk possibly. Hi, Carolyn. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for liking and sharing, Angela. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Okay, so what we are going to do, I want to talk to you a little bit about a couple of books I've been reading by a guy called Austin Kleon. Has anyone read these? Still Like an Artist? I'll pop that web address back up in a bit longer. Still Like an Artist. Anyone read that? And then his follow-up book, Show Your Work. So these have been interesting little books. I mean, they're not hard to read. They're it's a lot of pages like this. So they're really simple read. I read it in about 40 minutes, this one, sitting at a cafe. But I thought it was an interesting book. So Well, just before I go into that, Darlene's asking a question: how often do you list a new item on eBay consistently? I think if you want to actually generate, say, $1,000 a month, for argument's sake, right? I'd be putting up 2 to 3 paintings a day on eBay, and using different strategies. And we talked about this in a previous live stream. You know, I'd have some that started as 99-cent auctions that you're probably going to lose money on until you build an audience. But they're designed to pull people into your store. And I'd have some that were in that sort of $50 to $150 range. And then I'd have maybe 25% of your listings I would have in the $200, $300, $400, $500 range. Because what happens is people come in and they see the lower dollar value ones, but then they fall in love with your art and you sell the higher end ones. But to make that work, to make $1,000 a month, I would think initially I'd be doing 2 to 3 a day, you know. And so we talked about this previously, you know, little small paintings. And you could do 2 to 3, and I've shown examples in the past where I've had 2 to 3 panels on the board, and I do them all at the same time. And in an hour, you can do 2 or 3 small paintings, right? So that's what I would do, and I'd do that every day, and not worrying about the outcome. Just keep doing the production, right? Keep doing the work, and over time it will build momentum. But it doesn't happen overnight. It really doesn't. But there's no platform that happens overnight, right? Every single platform to sell your artwork requires consistent effort. So I hope that helps Darlene and anyone else using eBay. Even if you did 1 a day, right, and you did that for a whole year, that's 352 paintings. Now, that's not a lot. Anyone who's doing well on an online platform selling their artwork, they usually got a stock of 300, 500 paintings up at any one time. So because they're selling work, they're adding work all the time, right? So you need to build up that inventory. The more pieces of art you have up on any platform, the more chances of being found. Every little one becomes a salesperson for you, right? So yeah, but it's not about the number. It's about the consistency of the effort over a sustained period of time. So you pick your own number: 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day. If you want to be a full-time artist, maybe it's 5 to 10, who knows? Small paintings, 4 or 5 a day, but it's more about the consistency of effort, working out what your number is, and then consistency of effort. But one thing I do know is the more pieces of artwork you have online, the more sales you make. It's simple. There's no real mystery. Even though I'm going to show you a little secret to selling your art, there's no real mystery to it. It's do good work and put it up online and do that every day, or consistently as possible. And the more of it you do, the more sales you make over time. It doesn't happen overnight, right? So you have to let the market catch up. So anyway, I was talking about Still Like an Artist. Has anyone read this book? Austin Kleon. I highly recommend it because G'day Rose in Tassie. Okay, I'm going to hold off on questions. So I know there's a few people typing in questions and so on. But let me just, otherwise I won't get to say what I was going to say about these. Austin Kleon. Great little book, Still Like an Artist. Now he's referring to artists as being all arts, not just visual arts. So he's talking about musicians and poets and sculptors and so on. But I found it a little fascinating little book. And basically what he's saying is to use lots of inspiration from lots of different areas and then bring it all into your own practice. So you don't copy any one particular artist, but you absorb into your practice inspiration from lots of other artists' work. And I think Picasso said something along these lines, didn't he? Good artist copy and great artist steal, something like that. So it's not I don't think it's about directly copying, but it's about going and finding inspiration for yourself and then drawing that into your own practice so that you absorb elements of what you like rather than 100% of any one artist into your own practice. So I thought that was a good book. And then his follow-up book was Show Your Work. So this is about what I was just talking about just a moment ago, right? There's no real secret to making sales of art. It's just do lots of art and put lots of art in the marketplace, right? And the more artwork you put into the marketplace, the more visibility you get. And the more visibility you get, the more attention you get. And the more attention you get, the more you build a following and people who buy your art. And the whole thing snowballs from there. So but it all starts with work. And so you've got to do consistent volume of work. And there's only 2 works to do as an artist. There's, what's the matter, Molly? Something upset her. There's production of artwork, creation, and then there's putting it into the marketplace. So these books, I like these because this one's about production of artwork, finding inspiration to produce your artwork. And this one is about putting it into the marketplace. So I highly recommend them. Really interesting little books. And, I wish I'd read these years ago, but a lot of what he's put in here is stuff that sort of aligns with my own philosophies, like learn, then teach, right? Now, I interpret that to be you go out and you learn something about painting, you do a painting, and then you allow your painting to teach you more. So you keep learning, like learn from your own paintings. So I highly recommend these. And you'll get a lot of value out of these, I think. So, has anyone read them? Or is it just me? I'm buying art books and things all the time, so I love reading art books. G'day, Catherine Doyle, how are you? Okay. Oh, one other thing. One other thing before I turn over to your questions. We did this one on our live stream this week. So well done to everyone in the Facebook group who have had a go at this. You've all done a great job. The live stream is a little bit rushed, so I'm going to do this as our Learn to Paint TV episode this week. And do it as a bit more of a finished work than what we normally do. So look out for that one. Took that one down at Tweed River Gallery, and it's just out the back of the gallery, and just around the corner is Mount Warning, which we've done a painting of in the past. So yeah, nice little subject. So look out for that on Learn to Paint TV next week. Thank you, Alice Angela. That's actually a photo, that one, so we'll we will get to the painting of it. Helen says, I've not read them. Highly recommend them if you haven't. Rosalie, good morning from Port Douglas on a day trip to Daintree. You get around, Rosalie. You're all over the country. Good to see you though. Catherine, I love reading art books also. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing for us artists to do. Okay. Let me answer a couple of questions. Hey Rose in Tassie. So, Libel, formerly Wolfcat, has a question. Please, it's getting winter here soon and I plan to do some paintings with snow. Well, with paint, but painting snow. Question, what colours can I use to say snow on the white? I'm probably not the best person to answer this question for you, Libel, because I have only seen snow once in my life, falling out of the sky. So I've seen it falling out of the sky once, and I've seen it on the ground once. I was only a kid then, and I do everything I possibly can to avoid snow and cold, so I'm not the best person to answer. What I recommend is that you jump on Google and you Google paintings of snow or snow scenes and have a look at the photos of and observe how other people have painted the shadows. Yeah, I wouldn't do it in blue, but I'd probably do more of a bluey reddy kind of tone. But I don't know. I don't really paint snow or have any knowledge of snow other than it's cold. Okay, sorry I can't help. But I have to be honest though, and if I can help I will. If I can't, I'm going to let you know as well. Angela says, will you have the free lesson in the links after you're live here? I'll put it back up at the end, Angela. Yeah, absolutely. LaBelle, why am I asking you about snow? Probably because you're practically surrounded by it. No, definitely not surrounded by snow. Angela, when it becomes consistent and your paintings sell quick, how does one keep up painting, or how would you go about keeping the sales flowing if you don't keep up? If that becomes a problem for you where you can't keep up with the sales, put your prices up. Simple, right? That's an indicator that you need to put your prices up. But that's a problem that most of us aren't faced with generally, right? I probably only sell, in a year, I probably sell 1 in 5 paintings that I do. So, mind you, selling work is only 10% of my focus. But yeah, if that becomes a problem, there's ways around it. Don't worry about it for the moment, unless it's actually a problem right now, I think is the best answer. Okay. Helen's asked, are they available in the UK? I think you're referring to these books. Everything's available in the UK. Just go to amazon.com or amazon.co.uk and they'll be available for sure, yeah. Absolutely. But they were big selling books a few years ago. Lisa's asking, what do you take plein air painting? Lisa, in the Learn to Paint Academy, there's a little mini course on plein air painting, and I've got a couple of videos walking you through the equipment that I have. So I'd suggest go and watch that. I wouldn't take a table unless you can set up right next to the car, which I usually don't do. You're probably going to need a French easel, especially down Geelong way because it's pretty windy. But yeah, go and watch the little mini course in the Learn to Paint Academy, which as a life member you'll have access to that, and that'll give you a video walkthrough of a couple of different setups. Good morning, John. How are you? Catherine, oh, you are missing out. You may go somewhere where there's snow. It seems unlikely. I've spent my whole life trying to avoid snow, but maybe one day. Yeah, it just doesn't appeal to me, I'm afraid. Yeah, John's saying snow use blue as a shadow. I'd go and find video images on Google and have a look what they did. Good morning, Joan in Ireland, or good evening to you. And another one in Ireland, Anne. Good evening to you too. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Cool. Thanks, Lisa. All right. Gladys has asked, you mentioned that the edges of the canvas should be painted if you are hanging it frameless. How do you do that? Well, I never used to do that at all. But I've started doing it for wider canvases. And yeah, like I'm just painting orange in here, so I've just run it down the sides. I don't think there's any trick to it or anything you need to know apart from while you've got the colour mixed, put it on the side as well. That's all I've been doing. A little bit trickier with oils because you can't paint all four sides with an oil painting unless you're going to lay it flat on the ground. So you have to plan that out a bit more. But yeah, I think when you've got the colour there mixed and wet, just run it around the sides. That's all I've been doing there, Gladys. Yeah, some people will actually paint the details, like extend the trees around, but I don't do that. I just block in the colour, the predominant colour that I'm working on. Yeah, LaBelle's saying she does pretty much that same as well. No secrets then. Oh, well, the only secret we've got today is going to be the secret about how to sell your artwork, which I'm happy to share it with you now if you give me hearts. Give me hearts. If I get enough indication that you want me to share it with you now, then I will. Otherwise, we can do more questions. Questions? What questions do you have about painting? Oh, what hearts? There's a couple of hearts. Thank you very much to the person who's given me hearts. Yay, more hearts. All right. Well, we'll cover that in just a moment then, hey? Oh, an angry face. Who gave me an angry face? That's not very nice. God. G'day, Lynn in Logan. Ah, you're just down the road, Lynn. I didn't realise you were so close. I'm assuming that's Logan, Queensland, Logan, near Brisbane. That's what I did this weekend. Last Sunday, I went and did a workshop with an older artist by the name of Brian Cook. And I went to that workshop. It was a one-day workshop because he was doing palette knife work. And it was just fascinating to me to watch an artist who's really a master artist and getting on a bit in age now, but his work is exceptional. And just keep going to workshops and keep learning, because even though I've been painting for nearly 9 years, actually 9 years now, November 2010, did my first oil painting. And I learnt so much just through watching him paint with the palette knife and so on, that I can't wait to go to his next one. So for those of you like Lynn, who is near me, he is doing workshops regularly down at Mount Tamborine, Wisteria Cottage. So if anyone wants the details, I'll connect you up with the guy who organises that. But yes, but the real point is keep doing workshops, keep learning. You know, this is why I buy books and I take online courses all the time for artists, because I just want to keep inputting the right information in my brain. All right. Now, I think there was a few hearts, wasn't there? The Bells asked a question, do you use up leftover paint on your palette to create abstract paintings? I sometimes just create some shapes on a black canvas. Yeah, absolutely. If you've got leftover paint and you don't want to throw it out, then one of the things that I often do is I'll just use it to tone a board or tone a canvas. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Angela's saying no right or wrong way to paint the sides. I agree. Do you only paint in oil or acrylic? I paint in oils, predominantly water mixable oils. Water mixable oils. I moved away from traditional oils because of the more toxic mediums and so on, and thinners. And I paint in acrylics, and I have started using mixed media. So this is acrylic, and I've been using these oil pastels on there to make marks and lines. And so this one is, eventually I'm going to use oil paint over the top of the acrylic and the oil pastels, so this becomes a mixed media. And that's something new for me. I'm a great believer in pushing the boundaries further and further out of what you do. Doesn't mean I'm going to stay in this genre or this approach, but just the expansive nature of trying new things and experimenting. And then, you know, maybe I'll leave it all out there and don't continue with that particular approach, but I might take one or two things back into my regular work, right? So I think experimentation and losing the fear. So I'm going to start doing more and more abstract expressionism, right? So this is an abstract landscape. It's still recognizable as a landscape, right? But it's abstracted. What I'm going to start doing over Christmas, you know, for a bit of fun, is abstract expressionism, which has no realism in it. And why am I going to do that? I'm actually going to sign up for an online course in it, which is not cheap, making me think we should put our prices up at Learn to Paint Academy. I think this course is about $497 US for one course, right? Ours are cheap by comparison. But I'm going to take that course because I just want to push my boundaries right out and keep experimenting. Does that mean I'm going to become an abstract artist? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows where I'll be in 5 or 10 years. But what I'm looking for is just slightly different ways of making marks and approaches to painting that I can absorb back into my regular painting. And I highly recommend the same to everyone. LaBelle's asking, only 9 years, what made you start painting? I walked into a gallery in London, the Tate Britain Gallery. I was there on business and an appointment cancelled. I walked into the gallery and I was mesmerised by J.W. Turner's oil paintings and watercolour paintings. And this little voice in my head said, you're going to become an artist. And I didn't believe that voice at first, but here I am today, right? So that's what made me become an artist. I just had this intuitive knowing that that's what I was meant to do. It was a calling. Angela, oh yes, I have them oil pastels, cool. Yep, mixed media I think just adds another element, doesn't it? Correct, LaBelle. Oils over acrylics works, but I wouldn't try acrylics over oils. Now, I feel as though I was... here we go. Good. G'day, Gabrielle. How are you? Miriam, welcome. I'm glad you're here because I'm coming up to a very important component of our Friday morning coffee chat, and you need to be here for that. Heather, I have seen some canvases left with a border with masking tape. Yeah. It does look good, Heather. Yeah, there's actually, when I was in the Noosa Regional Galleries exhibition earlier in the year, a couple of the artists had big, thick masking taped off, so they had a natural white border around there. So yeah, that looked good. Morning, Tom. How are you, mate? No worries, Alice Angela. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again on one of our live streams. Okay, now, drum roll, please, because I've been talking about the secret to learning to paint. Not to learning to paint, to sell your artwork, right? Good morning, Colin. Thanks, Lorraine. I'm glad that's helped. So, recently, an artist who shall remain nameless by the name of Miriam she did a painting, right? And so this is the secret that I want you all to take note of, right? And she did something very unique. So what a lot of artists do when they do a painting is that they go to all the different art groups on Facebook and they put their painting up to show all the other artists, and they get comments and likes and little hearts and things, which is all lovely. But that doesn't necessarily sell your work, right? Miriam did something different from what most artists do. She put the painting up on her Facebook page and she made an offer, right? She said, hey, I've just done this painting. It's available for sale and here's the price. Message me if you want it, right? That's very different from what most artists do, isn't it? Most artists put their painting up in Facebook groups to show the other artists and get likes and comment. And we get validation that way. But that doesn't help you sell paintings. So Miriam made an offer to the marketplace, right? Now, have a look at the painting. It's absolutely beautiful. And I love the frame. So she made this offer, which is smart. So many artists just don't make offers. They don't say, hey, I've got this available for sale. Here's the price, free shipping today only. You know, message me if you want to buy it. Why don't we do that, right? So Miriam, to your credit, well done. Because I saw it and I loved it, right? And lots of things to learn here, like the branding. She's got a little sticker on there with the branding, professionally put together. And so that's the secret I want to share with you today is, so thank you, Miriam. Very chuffed that arrived yesterday. The secret I want to share with you is make offers. Like put your artwork out there and say, this is available for sale. This is the price. Free shipping today only, or whatever the offer is. You come up with your own offers and put it out there into the market. Don't be afraid, right? Yeah, I got it. Absolutely, I got it. So yeah, I was very chuffed that came yesterday. I'm going to put that up on my office wall and in the studio. Sorry, in my office next to the studio. So you've got to make offers to people to let people know that this is available for sale, right? So I often see people listing their work on eBay and then they'll post it onto their Facebook page or Facebook profile, and they'll put a photo of it and say, this is available on, I've just listed this one on eBay. But they don't put the link there, right? So you're making people have to do work to go and buy it. You want to make it as easy as possible. If you're going to put something up on eBay and then post it onto your Facebook page, have the link there where people can go and buy it, right? These things aren't hard, but we don't do them, or we don't think to do them. So Miriam, I hope you're doing more of that, Miriam. Try different price points, especially Christmas is coming up. Now's the time for people to start buying Christmas presents, right? So imagine if you did, this is I think it's an 8x10. Maybe if you did one a day, framed or unframed, and you started popping up offers onto your Facebook page, but you do it consistently as well. So that's a real secret that it's basic business, right? The more offers you make to the marketplace, the more sales happen, right? And so that's one secret. The other secret is, I was thinking about when the painting arrived, I was thinking about when I started to sell paintings. And this is getting a little bit esoteric or metaphysical and may not resonate with everyone, but I'm a believer in energy. Like the whole universe is made up of energy and energy flows, right? So I was thinking back to when I started selling work and what was happening at that time. Now my work hadn't got that much better, but all of a sudden I started selling work, and it was a pretty much at the same time that I started to buy other artists' paintings. And think about that from an energetic flow point of view, right? If you want to sell paintings but you don't buy other artists' paintings, how likely is it that the energy is going to flow back to you that you'll start to sell them? It's very unlikely, I think. And that's been my experience. Now, there's no research or science to back this up. This is, I believe, the energy is made up of energy. It flows in different directions. Money is just energy, right? So sales of your artwork is just an energy exchange. And when I started to regularly buy other artists' work, I started to sell work, right? Now, I didn't spend a fortune on paintings. I've got a few that are worth, thousands, but most of the paintings I buy are from people like Miriam, artists that I admire. Didn't cost me a fortune. Miriam could have sold it for more, perhaps. but she made an offer that was I could see the value in it. You know, I think it's a beautiful painting. The lights here don't do it justice. It's reflecting off there. So 2 tips for you on selling your artwork: make offers to the marketplace, right, consistently. Don't just promote your artwork. Make offers. Make it available. And the other option, or the other tip, is buy other people's artwork, right? I'm not saying to buy mine. If you like mine, sure, you can buy it. There's lots of it at eBay or on Blue Thumb. But buy other artists' artwork. You know, I think one of the very first paintings I ever bought was a Scottish guy who's a watercolor artist. And I bought it for about $20, right? But it made $20 is not a lot of money, but it made a world of difference to him. You know, he emailed me. He was so happy that somebody bought his painting and was paying attention to him. It made his day. So the energy that he then went through the day as an artist with elevated, right? Because we want to elevate everyone in the art world to a higher level. We don't want to have artists who are negative and nobody's buying art and they're all down on their luck. You know, forget that. So by just buying small pieces of art from people and just being in that energy flow, you will sell more work as well. I guarantee it, right? But consistency of effort as well is important. So I hope that resonates with a few people. Helen, do you keep notes on your experiments on how you like a particular result or how you approach something? Not really, Helen, no. I just take photos of my work and then I have a photographic reference of them. But I don't really, well, I do. I've got I haven't been that good at it, but I have like a sketchbook and I jot down ideas and I keep notes from workshops. There's one from Todd Wisson workshop, Principles of Design, doodling, creating different keys in a painting, high key, low key. Yeah, I don't keep notes though. I've tried mixed media and not specifically like that. No, it's probably worth doing though. I know a lot of artists do. One of the great Australian landscape artists, Fred Williams, used to keep extensive studio notes. Tom says, such a good point, Rod. People will see art on social media, but they don't intuitively think I could buy that. Exactly right. You've got to make the offer to them so that they connect with that in their brain of how it's going to look on their wall. So good point, Tom. Yeah, I am very happy with it, Miriam. I'm going to put that up today in the office. Tom says, a good example from retail, if you go into a shop and a product doesn't have a price on it, generally you don't like having to ask a staff member. Absolutely. So you just don't buy it or inquire, yeah? And if anyone knows, Tom knows, you know. Tom is been working at the Art Shed online, both in their store and managing their online stuff. So he knows a lot about selling stuff, right? And in many ways, art is not that different from selling any product. You know, we're dealing with human beings, and we have to create certain triggers that get them to pull their credit card out and buy, right? Catherine, I have a friend who set up her own website for her art. She works. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, as you progress, you should definitely have a website, not just to show your art, but that has buy buttons on it, right? So that people can buy their art. I've sold quite a few pieces off my own website. Darlene says, I totally agree. Give away what you want. Yep. Creates an energy flow. Exactly right. Thank you, Miriam. Miriam saying, I love what you're saying about energy. Such an awesome, positive perspective. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And that is 100% correct. Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button there. Where are we? There we are. I want to put that back up. Yes, I agree, Miriam. And we, as artists, we need to create a more positive energy in what we do and be more optimistic and positive about it. Joan says, thanks, all the great tips. My pleasure, Joan. John says, positive energy creates a positive environment. Absolutely. Okay, let me have a look over YouTube now. Do I ever paint wildlife? Great white sharks? Not so much. I mean, I'm predominantly a landscape artist, but I'm looking to expand, what I do next in the next year. So we'll be exploring different subjects for sure. It is a great painting, yes. Rose says, some like to cover the white canvas before they paint. Do you feel this helps? Rose, I've tried it both ways. Painting on white canvas and putting a stain or a ground on the canvas. And I don't know, I'm not sold on it one way or the other. To me, it doesn't make much difference to me, but I know it can for other people, for sure. Angela says, wow, yes, sharing and buying others' paintings does bring energy to yourself and to the other you brought it from. And it's very inspiring energy building around the world, absolutely. And it sells more artwork, and the more artwork sells, the more people are going to want to buy it as well. It pulls people into the art market. Because for a lot of people, they perceive the art market as being a different world to them. They see on TV these huge auction results and so on. A lot of people don't realise you can go and buy original artwork for $100 or $50 or, and there's something about owning original artwork that is, you're getting a little piece of the artist's soul, right, in every painting. And that's priceless, really, when you think about it. Lisa says, we are all part of the energy of the universe. Positivity is the key. I absolutely agree, Lisa. Absolutely. All right, last chance to ask a question. Last chance to ask a question. And then I've got a question for you to win our prizes today. Carol says, he who controls the stock controls the sales. Now, that's a really, really interesting point you've made there, Carol. And many years ago, when I was in my 20s, I was in real estate. And the old guys in real estate used to say that very thing. He who controls the listings controls the sales. And I don't know that that's necessarily true in the art world, although if you look at Blue Thumb, they don't really control the stock, but they've got a massive amount of stock and they make a massive amount of sales, like Saatchi or Artfinder, right? So I think I'd perhaps rephrase it into, he who has the most amount of stock available for sale makes the most sales, is the way I'd probably resonates with me. So yeah, the more you have available for sale in the marketplace and the more offers you make, the more sales you make. It's just a fundamental law of economics, I think. Colin says, right, if I don't get it right on the first blocking, I sometimes redo the blocking in order to improve the colour value and temperature precision. Yeah, I think that's a valid approach, Colin, absolutely. The trouble with that is that sometimes I muck up the colour saturation with the second or third pass, particularly in the background, which becomes more dark and saturated. Well, it depends on whether you're wiping back the original block in or not. If you're not, if it's wet at all and it can come through, I kind of get what you mean. Muck up the colour saturation with a second or third pass. Yeah, I think maybe if you could send me a photo of that, Colin, I can have a look at it for you. But I think if your blocking's not right and you've got colour there, you need to make sure that's either completely dry or wiped back as much as you possibly can. And if that's not the case, then that could cause you problems for sure. But the way around that, of course, will be just to use thicker paint as you block in, progressively thicker paint to make it more opaque, I would think. Not sure I'm answering your question there, Colin. I'm happy to chat further about that. Heather says, I get positive energy from listening to our chats. Good, Heather. That's the main reason why I do it. G'day, Marita. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. Miriam, should I be upset about someone buying my 99-cent auctions on eBay and reselling for much more? I'm thinking it's good for me because it's spreading my name and creating demand regardless of how much money I made on it. there's two components to that, right? So Miriam's had the experience where she was selling some of her auctions for 99 cents. Somebody's come along and bought them at 99 cents because there was no competitive bidding, and then they've resold them for more. Okay, should you be upset about that? Well, two things, right? If you're gonna use an eBay strategy, I think starting some of your listings at 99 cents makes sense because it pulls people in and you get greater visibility, right? So if you're going to list them for 99 cents, you have to be prepared that some of them are going to sell for 99 cents. Not all of them, but some of them will, because there just won't be competition in the bidding. So should you be upset that some of your paintings sold for 99 cents? Not if you've gone into it knowing that that's a possibility and that that's part of a strategy. Should you be upset that somebody's then resold them for more? And my thinking on that is, all throughout history, the greatest artists in history have sold their work at X, and then as they've become famous, their work has been resold through big auction houses like Sotheby's for vastly greater sums. I mean, if Monet was here today, would he be upset that one of his paintings sold for $48 million when he sold it for 100 francs or whatever it was in the day, right? Probably he wouldn't be upset about that because it's a validation that you're on the right path. I had an incident very similar. I don't know whether the chap resold them, but he bought quite a number of my paintings at 99 cents, probably about 20 or 30 of them. And I wasn't upset about it because I figure they're better off in somebody else's lounge room on their walls than in my lounge room, right? Because they become little salespeople for us. So that's my thinking about it. I think it's actually a compliment, and it also it should tell you that your paintings can achieve high prices with the right strategy. So the question I'd be asking is, how is it that he was able to resell them for more? What did he do or she do that you can copy and model? That's what I'd be thinking. Carol, you've done a real estate course. Yes, I suspected that may have been the case. My pleasure, Colin. My pleasure. All right, where are we up to? Lots of good points. Thank you, Gladys. LaBelle's asking, is there a video on how you package your painting for transit? Many years ago I did do one, but I probably need to update it. So I'll, itchy nose. I'll perhaps do that as one of our art studio chats soon. Angela says, I have an original passed down by my mum, dated back in the early 1800s. Far out. It's inspiring to paint this year, worth a mint. Don't know where to have it appraised. Do you know who the artist is, Angela? I think that would be a question. But if it's a genuine Australian painting from the early 1800s, I'd be contacting the National Gallery in New South Wales, perhaps, or Melbourne, or Canberra. Okay, all right. Any other questions? Marita says, hey Rod, any tips on how to start marketing artwork? I'm starting to run out of wall space. So welcome to the club. You know you've got a problem when you have to go and get a storage unit, which is, I've got a storage unit for all my art. Marita, I've done over the last 6 months or so, we've done a number of live streams on how to get started selling your artwork. So if you message me, Marita, on Facebook, I can send you some links to some of those. And what I recommend to people who are starting to sell their artwork, if you're not selling consistently and regularly right now, I recommend finding a marketplace where people go to buy artwork. They don't go to Facebook art groups to buy artwork because they're generally other artists. So you want to find a marketplace where people will actually go there to buy artwork. And two of the easiest are eBay and Etsy, right? Etsy's a little bit tougher and the fees are a bit higher. So therefore I always suggest people start in eBay until you learn how to sell work and you start to build a bit of a following. And I've recorded live streams like this on that very topic. So if you message me on Facebook, I'll shoot you through the link for that. Okay. Miriam, I have wondered how they were able to sell them for so much more. I think because they were some sort of estate sales site. Yeah. So there are auction sites where they clear out old estates and things like that. And that's a viable place to go and sell your artwork. But what you have to do is sell it as a lot of artwork rather than one-offs. So you need to go and put together 20 paintings and sell it as a wholesale lot through that auction house, generally. But they all operate differently, so it's worth researching for sure. Okay, question for the day. So somebody on YouTube is going to win our Learn to Paint mouse mat, and somebody on Facebook is going to win our Learn to Paint coffee mug. Both of them featuring my beautiful caricature there, which is actually pretty accurate. But if you want to win, my question for you is, what's one takeaway you've got from today that you can actually use, right? That you can actually use in your own art practice. Just one thing. And I'm going to pick the answer that I like the best in 4 minutes. 4 minutes time, right? So at 9:55, I'm going to pick the answer I like the best. So it's going to be completely my opinion as to which one I like the best. Sorry about that. What's one takeaway that you've got from today that you're going to implement into your art practice? And hopefully you've got one thing, right? If it's not signed, that could be a bit tricky, Angela, that painting. All right, one thing you've got from today. That's a good answer, Carol. I like that. All right, folks. So we're going to wrap up. You can also ask any more questions. Final chance to ask questions before we wrap up today. We've got a busy day coming up. Busy day. I've just recorded a art studio chat, which is all about composition and design. So look out for that next week. And also look out for, where did it go? Oh, here it is. This is our Learn to Paint TV episode for next week. So look out for that. All right, so a few answers coming in. All right. Now, if you haven't done so already, if it's your first time, make sure you drop by, write down this web address, www.learntopaint.info. You can go and register for our free course, which gives you an introduction to the Moore method of painting. And there's 4 different demos there, so you can get started on your painting journey with us at the Learn to Paint Academy. So go and check that out. All right, 2 minutes to go. Last chance to ask any final questions. All right. Heather's made an interesting point there. Heather, the more you paint, the better you become and the more positive you become, which is true, but I do think that there are some artists who paint more but don't get the results they're looking for and do become a bit bitter as well. So we have to be always vigilant with our mindset, I think. You know, we really have to invest in becoming a more positive, upbeat, optimistic person, and that positive energy, I think, attracts back to us good things. You know, it's certainly been the case for me. People say I'm overly positive, but I don't think I'm overly positive. I think have a positive air about me that tends to result in good things. But I like your point. All right, 1 minute to go. Get your answers in, folks. You're going to miss out on a limited edition mouse mat and coffee cup. All right, Gladys is saying she's got lots of snow around here. Perhaps you could snap off some photos, Gladys, and we can work out what colour the shadow is there. All right, so it is now 9:55, so let me pick a winner on YouTube. YouTube is going to win a limited edition mouse mat. That way every time you go to use a computer, you'll think about painting. So Just scrolling through, lots of chat about snow. Okay, Angela, you're our winner on YouTube. Angela's response was you should do some kind of drawing or sketch at least 15 minutes a day to get the brain working. I like that. So Angela, if you contact our support desk, which is learntopaint.support, okay, if you go there and then contact one of our support people and give us your address and let us know you won the mouse mat on the live stream, okay, then we'll post that out to you. So it's learntopaint.support, www.learntopaint.support. Congratulations, Angela. Don't have a computer? Then you'll have to find somebody you can gift it to. Well, if you don't have a computer, then how are you watching this? On your mobile phone, maybe. But congratulations, Angela. All right. And for our coffee mug on Facebook. Okay, so we've got some interesting ones here. Carol says, increase your stock. Lynn says, have fun. Sandra says to experiment. Darlene, that I need to be producing more art to sell on eBay on a consistent basis. Yes, absolutely. Give positive energy to get it back. Miriam, Lisa, read more art books. Offer art on Facebook page for price. Okay, that's 2, and I was only after 1, Lisa, but they're both valid points. Thank you. Joan, when you put oil around the edges of canvas, prepare a head and lay flat on the ground. Yep, good. John, are your coffee mugs up for sale? No, they're not. They're limited edition, and I haven't set up any way of selling them because I just kind of was going to give them away for the moment. I've only got 4 or 5 left, so when the stock runs out, we might get a new lot and put them up for sale. Heather, the more you paint, the better you become. Yes. Joan says, positive energy, pay it forward. Right, I've got to pick one. And I'm going to go with Lynn Robinson, have fun. Because ultimately, that's got to be what it's all about, right? If we're not having fun, none of it matters. So congratulations, Lynn. I like that. I think you summarised in 2 words what I'm all about with art. So congratulations. Thank you everyone else for your answers. Lynn, again, if you contact our support desk, www.learntopaint.support, and let us know that you won the coffee mug and your postal address and so on. We will send that out to you. So congratulations. Congratulations. All right, everyone. I have got to go and film some painting. I've got to finish that off at some stage. I've got lots of painting to do. Lots of video to edit, lots of things to do. It's never a dull moment around here. Thank you all so much for joining me. And, last thing. Next week, there won't be any live streams, I'm afraid. Wednesday, I'm going to be in Brisbane. And on the Friday, we're doing our Noosa Plein Air Painting Workshop. So I won't be around for our live stream. So sorry about that. So we'll get back to the live streams the week after, and then probably by the end of November, early December, we will then have a rest for the Christmas break. So so there you go. That's the update. All right, guys. Thank you all very, very much. Enjoy your day. Happy painting, and go out and apply some of the ideas we talked about today. Cheers.